Welcome back everyone. I'm really glad you're here today because we're about to take a long, nostalgic ride into the golden era of American motoring with a car that needs no introduction to classic enthusiasts, the 1960 Cadillac Series 62. This isn't just a car, it's a symbol of an era, a rolling sculpture that perfectly captured the dreams and ambitions of post-war America. In this video, I'll walk you through everything that made this model stand out, from its unforgettable design to the way it performed on the road, and I promise by the end you'll understand why the 1960 Cadillac Series 62 is still considered one of the most iconic cars ever built. Now, to set the stage, we have to remember what Cadillac represented at that time. By 1960, Cadillac wasn't just another car brand, it was the definition of luxury, the automobile you bought when you had truly made it. The Series 62 had been a staple of Cadillac's lineup since the late 1940s, but in 1960, it stood at a very special point in history. Just the year before, Cadillac had created perhaps the most flamboyant car ever, the 1959 model with its towering tail fins that looked like rocket ships ready to blast off into space. While that design made headlines around the world, Cadillac realized that for 1960, they needed to refine the look, soften it slightly, and create something more elegant without losing that unmistakable Cadillac flair. And that's exactly what they did. The first thing that grabs you when you see a 1960 Series 62 is the sheer presence of the car. It's long, wide, and low, a design philosophy that screamed American confidence. The tail fins were still there, tall and pointed, but less exaggerated than the year before, creating a more balanced silhouette. At the front, the wide chrome grille stretches from edge to edge with quad headlights framing it beautifully, while a sea of chrome accents gives the car an almost jewel-like sparkle under the sun. The side profile is graceful, with clean, flowing lines that make the car look like it's gliding even when it's parked. And at the back, the famous bullet-shaped taillights are nestled into those sleek fins, a design touch that has become a Cadillac trademark. Powering this land yacht was Cadillac's 390 cubic inch V8 engine, producing about 325 horsepower. That might not sound like outrageous power today, but back then, it was more than enough to move nearly 5,000 pounds of American steel with authority. What made this engine special wasn't raw speed, though, it was the way it delivered power. Smooth, quiet, and refined, it perfectly matched Cadillac's mission of effortless cruising. Paired with a Hydra-Matic automatic transmission, driving the Series 62 was all about ease. There was no stress, no drama, just smooth acceleration and the feeling that the car could go on forever down a long stretch of highway. Add to that power steering and power brakes, which came standard, and you had a vehicle that, despite its massive size, was surprisingly easy to maneuver compared to many of its rivals. Inside, the Series 62 was every bit the luxury palace you'd expect from Cadillac. Open the door and you're greeted with plush seating, often in fine leather or high-grade cloth, with colors and patterns that reflected the bold tastes of the era. The dashboard is a masterpiece of mid-century design, with symmetrical gauges, chrome detailing, and an overall layout that managed to feel futuristic while still being elegant. The steering wheel was large, thin-rimmed, and sometimes color-matched to the interior for extra flair. Cadillac also loaded the car with features that most other brands couldn't even dream of offering at the time. Power windows, power adjustable seats, automatic headlight dimmers, and air conditioning were all available, making the Series 62 not just a beautiful car but a technologically advanced one as well. On the road, the Cadillac Series 62 delivered what owners wanted most, a ride so smooth and comfortable it felt like floating. The suspension soaked up bumps and imperfections with ease, turning rough roads into a gentle glide. Combined with excellent sound insulation and that whisper-quiet V8, passengers were treated to an experience more like riding in a luxury train than a car. Driving one wasn't about sharp cornering or quick bursts of acceleration, it was about presence, confidence, and serenity. This was a car that encouraged long drives, Sunday cruises, and cross-country adventures, all while keeping its occupants relaxed and surrounded by luxury. Another fascinating aspect of the 1960 Series 62 is the variety it offered. Buyers could choose from different body styles depending on their personality and lifestyle. The two-door hardtop coupe was stylish and sleek, the four-door sedan was dignified and practical, and the convertible was the ultimate expression of open-air glamour. There was even a six-window hardtop that gave rear passengers an even airier feel. Each version had its own charm, but all carried that same Cadillac DNA of luxury, size, and style. Beyond the engineering and design, what really cements the 1960 Cadillac Series 62 as a legend is the cultural role it played. This was the car of the American dream. Owning one meant you had achieved success, that you were living in comfort and style during one of the most prosperous decades in U.S. history. It was the car of choice for businessmen, entertainers, and politicians alike. Compared to European luxury cars, Cadillac didn't try to imitate, it offered something uniquely American: bigger, flashier, and bolder. It stood as a symbol of post-war optimism, the space-age fascination, and the booming economy. Even today, collectors and enthusiasts treasure the 1960 Series 62. It represents a sweet spot between the wild, exaggerated style of the 1959 and the more conservative designs that would arrive later in the 1960s. Its design is timeless, a perfect balance of drama and elegance. Restored examples often draw huge crowds at car shows, and slipping behind the wheel today still feels like stepping into a time machine. The size, the feel of the steering, the way the hood stretches out endlessly before you, it's a reminder of when cars weren't just built to be efficient machines, they were built to make a statement. Driving one in the modern world is an experience like no other. Sure, it's massive by today's standards, and fuel economy isn't something Cadillac owners back then worried about, but none of that matters when you're behind the wheel. The way people stop and stare, the feeling of commanding the road, and the simple joy of gliding along in such a beautiful piece of machinery is priceless. The 1960 Cadillac Series 62 isn't about practicality, it's about presence, about passion, and about remembering a time when the automobile was the ultimate expression of freedom and success. So to sum it all up, the 1960 Cadillac Series 62 wasn't just a car, it was an era on wheels. From its unforgettable design with toned-down yet still spectacular tailfins, to its smooth and powerful V8, to its luxurious interior filled with innovations, it embodied everything Cadillac stood for and more. It was stylish, powerful, comfortable, and above all, iconic. This was the Cadillac that bridged the flamboyant 50s with the refined 60s, making it one of the most memorable models in Cadillac's long and storied history. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past with the legendary 1960 Cadillac Series 62. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more deep dives into classic cars and automotive history, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and support the channel. This is VeloView, and I'll catch you in the next one.